All right, today we are going to learn how to solve systems of equations word problems. We're going to be using an acronym known as RULES. Each letter in the word stands for something that will help you walk through the problem. Okay, remember, a system of equations in Algebra 1 is two equations. No. Used to find a solution. And we always write the solution as an x value and a y value. Before we solve using substitution or elimination. Okay, so using rules, we're going to write two separate equations before we solve using substitution or elimination. These problems have two variables. One for each unknown. Okay, the R in the acronym RULES represents read the problem. Okay, so that's what we'll do first. A group of people bought movie tickets at the Circle Center movie theater. They bought a total of 7 tickets, some adult and some kid tickets. They spent a total of $72. If adult tickets cost $12 and kid tickets cost $9, how much of each were purchased? Okay, so we've read the problem. Now we're going to underline the question. We're going to underline what they're asking us to find out. Okay, what are they asking us to figure out? Right. How much of each were purchased? How many adult tickets and how many kids tickets? Okay, to do that, we need to line up a plan, which is when we're going to create our system. Okay, but before we line up the plan, we've got to identify the unknowns. If they're wanting us to find out how much of each were purchased, what are they talking about? Each what? Each adult ticket and each kid ticket. So I'm going to use X to represent my adult tickets. And I'm going to use the Y to represent my kid tickets. Now, had you done that the other way, it would have also been okay. Okay, you could have used X for kid tickets and Y for adult tickets. It's okay either way. Now I'm going to create my system of equations, which is what it means when it says line up a plan. I'm going to circle important information. They bought a total of 7 tickets. Some of those were adult and some were kid. How can I write an equation from that statement? Okay, right, but let's reverse it and put X plus Y equals 7. That means your adult tickets and your kid tickets totaled up to 7 tickets, right? Now your second equation is going to come from the remaining information that says they spent a total of $72. Adult tickets cost $12 and kid tickets cost $9. Can anybody tell me what that equation would look like? What is it equal to? Okay, and then $72 is from what? Very good. $12 per adult ticket, $9 per kid ticket totals up to $72. So let's talk about these two equations for a second. The top equation is all about the total number of tickets. Do we currently know how many are adult?
Yes.
No. That's what we're trying to figure out. So that's why we didn't write anything beside the X. We don't know how many are adult tickets right now. Do we currently know how many are kid tickets?
Yes.
No. That's why we didn't write anything beside the Y. The only thing we know about it is that when you add together the adult tickets and the kid tickets, there's 7 total tickets. Now, this equation is all about the total money spent. If the total money spent was $72, then this is the equation that the money needs to be attached to the ticket. The adult tickets were 12, the kid tickets were 9. Okay, now the next step in rules is evaluate, which is the same thing as solve. To be able to solve this system, we're going to use elimination. Is there currently a variable that's ready to eliminate? No. What could you do to make that happen? Okay, or -9, whichever one you want to do. If you're wanting to eliminate the x's, you multiply by -12. If you were wanting to eliminate the y's, you multiply by -9. Now, the top equation will become -12x minus 12y equals what? No. -84. The bottom equation will not change because we're not multiplying it by anything. Once you have made it where there's a variable that will eliminate, what do you do with the equations? But why are they crossing out? What are you doing to the equations? You're adding them. Okay, you add up the equations. -12x plus 12x cancels out. It eliminates. -12y plus 9y becomes, and -84 plus 72 becomes. Okay, now to solve for y, what do? Divide by -3. And so y equals 4. Now, 4 what? Right. Y represents kids' tickets, so that's 4 kid tickets. Correct. Which automatically means, I've run out of room, that you have 3 adult tickets. And how do you know that? There were 7 total tickets. Now, we're going to make sure that this makes sense, which is what the S represents. If you buy 4 children's tickets, how much were they a piece? And that's how much money for the kids' tickets? If you buy 3 adult tickets, they were how much each? 12, and that's how much money? And that totals up to how much? And isn't that what they said we spent on the tickets? So it works. It makes sense. I mean, you should check it to make sure, like if it's a test question, to make sure it's right. Just, you need to know how to make sense of it. You need to understand how to check it. But what if you had done something wrong and that wasn't the right number to begin with? Right, which is what I just did. Okay, now we're going to do the next problem. You don't have to write this again. I'm just writing it for teaching purposes. What's the R represent in rules? Read the problem. Okay, hold on. So let's read the problem. Sally has 20 coins in her piggy bank. I know, just you see it on the board. It got cut off on the copy machine. Sally has 20 coins in her piggy bank, all dimes and quarters. The total amount of money is $3.05. How many of each coin does she have? Okay, so we've read it. What does the U represent? Underline the question. Okay, so what will I be underlining? Okay, so that means our unknowns are what? Okay, but what are X and Y? Dimes and quarters, or quarters and dimes. It doesn't matter how you do it. Okay, now L is for line up a plan. Okay, the first statement says she has 20 coins in her bank and all dimes and quarters. How do I write that equation? Right, her dimes plus her quarters is 20 coins. We don't put a number on those because we currently don't know how many of the 20 are dimes and how many of the 20 are quarters. So we just leave it dimes and quarters total up to 20. The second equation says that the total amount is $3.05. Well, this equation is all about how much money is in the account. So what does that mean we need to do when we write the equation? But we do know what the value of x is, because if x is a dime, that's 10 cents, 0.10. And y is a quarter, so that'd be 0.25y. You have to put the dollar value or the money value on those since it equals up to how much money's in the bank. Okay, because the top equation is all about total number of coins. The bottom equation is total number of money, which is why you attach the money amount to each variable. Does that make sense? Now, the next thing is evaluate. Do we have a variable that is already ready to eliminate? No. So what do I need to do? Okay, is that it? Negative. Is that the only thing I could have done? Right. If you want to eliminate the x's, that's what you need to do. If you want to eliminate the y's, you would have needed to just multiply by negative 0.25. Now, that causes the top equation to become negative 0.10x minus 0.10y equals negative, what's negative 0.10 times 20? Negative 2. Okay, now what happens to the bottom equation? It stays the same, so you just bring it down. Now that you have a variable to eliminate, you add the two equations together. When you add them together, the x's eliminate because negative 0.10 plus 0.10 cancels out. Negative 0.10y plus 0.25y becomes, and then negative 2 plus 3.05 becomes, now what do we do? And so y equals 7. 7 what? 7 quarters. And correct. If there's 20 coins sitting in that bank and 7 are quarters, then 13 of them are dimes. Now, the S represents what? The S. The S in the rules says, does it make sense? If you have 7 quarters, how much money is that? 7 quarters. 175. Hey, what does the, or if there's 13 dimes, how much money is that? And so how much is that total? And isn't that what it said was in the bank? So that means it makes sense. We did it right. Okay, now go down to the bottom. Everybody got that?
No, I don't have it yet. Go back up.
Okay, Jason's wallet is full of $5 and $10 bills. He has 25 bills totaling $230. How many of each bill does he have? Okay, listen, this is one question. This is a totally different question. We're not doing this one. So for that reason, if you need to, you can use this box for scratch work too for this problem, okay? We're going to be using all of that space since we're not doing that question. Okay, because we're just not. R is read the problem. I just did that. U is underline the question. What are they asking us here?
How many of these bills does he have?
Okay, so that means our unknowns are what?
That's the one.
Okay, but what are we labeling them? X can be the $5 bills and Y can be the $10 bills. Because you're trying to figure out how much of each type of bill he has. Hold on 1 second. Okay, now it's time to line up a plan. Who has the question? Somebody in the back. Okay. So, who can write the first equation? Jamarion. Go ahead.
So, X plus Y is 25.
Right. $5 bills plus $10 bills totals up to 25 bills. That's all about how many bills are in his pocket. The next one will be all about what?
How much money you have?
Money. So we need to put what beside the X?
You put the money beside that.
5X. And then what beside the Y? Now we are ready to evaluate it. Do we have a variable that's ready to eliminate? No. So what should we do? By what? Or we could have multiplied by. Either way will work. Okay, so the top equation, if you choose to multiply by -5, will become -5x minus 5y equals -125. Right. The bottom equation will not change. No. Okay, now I have -5x plus 5x, which eliminates. -5y plus 10y becomes 5y. And -125 plus 230 becomes okay, now what do I do? Okay, that's 21 what? $10 bills, right? So if we have 21 $10 bills, how many $5 bills were there? 4. And how do we know that? Right, he had 25 bills, and so that's 25 bills. Now, we need to make sure it makes sense. How much money is 21 $10 bills? $210. How much money is 4 $5 bills? And that totals up to, which is what they said he had, right? 230. So it makes sense. Okay, go to the next page. All right, we're not doing this one because it's pretty much the same problem we already did. It's just a different girl's name. So go down to the bottom. At Steak and Shake, 4 burgers and 3 fries cost $26.50. 5 burgers and 5 fries cost $36.25. What is the cost for each item? Okay, so we've read the question. Now it's time to underline what they're asking for. What is the cost? Yes, we are. What is the cost for each item? So, now we're about to change up things a little bit. What are the unknowns here? How much each burger is? And how much each fry is? I don't care. You need to be quiet. We're no longer going to use X and Y. We're going to use B for burgers and F for fries because we just are. All right. Now we're going to, now that we have underlined the question and we've identified our unknowns, we're going to line up a plan. We have 4 burgers and we have 3 fries and the cost is $26.50. What does that equation look like? Right? Okay, now we have 5 burgers and 5 fries in that order, and it costs $36.25. So what does that equation look like? Okay. Shh. Now, is there a variable ready to eliminate? Okay. Aaron has said that we need to multiply both. And why are we having to multiply both? Right, because if you multiplied the 4 by something, it won't become a 5. And if you multiplied the 3 by something, it won't become a 5. So we're going to have to change up both. Erin has decided that she wants to eliminate the f's. So she's going to make them the same number by multiplying this 3 by 5 and that 5 by -3. You got to make sure one of them becomes a negative. Otherwise, they won't cancel out. So when we multiply the top equation, 5 times 4b is 20b. 5 times 3f is 15f. And 5 times 2650 is what? Okay, now let's multiply the bottom equation. -3 times 5b is -15b. -3 times 5f. Oh, I just realized I forgot to write the variable. Let me fix this one. Hold on, I'm fixing this one really quick. And then this one's -15f. And then -3 times 3625 is what? Okay, so now that we have a variable that's ready to eliminate, we add the equations together. A 20b plus a -15b becomes a 5b. The f's eliminate because you have a 15 and a -15, which is 0. And then the constants are 132.5 plus a negative, which is basically minus 108.75, and that becomes what? Now what do we do? Divide by 5. And so each burger costs what? $4.75. Here we go. So each burger is $4.75. Now we need to find out the cost of a fry. How do we do that? You're right. Okay, you're plugging it in one of the equations like I taught you last week. 4 times your b value, which we now know is 475, plus 3f equals 2650. Now over here, what does that 4 times 4.75 become? 19. Okay, now what do we do? And so 3f equals what? Okay. And now what do we do? And so f equals 2.5. So that's $2.50 for a fry. Okay, now let's try the next one about Jordan is selling tickets. Jordan is selling tickets to the talent show. 4 senior citizen tickets and 5 student tickets were sold for a total of $102. The school took in $126 on the second day by selling 7 senior citizen tickets and 5 student tickets. What is the price of each ticket? Okay, so we've read the problem. What do I need to underline? What are they asking? Okay, so the price of each ticket, which tells us our unknowns are what? Right, senior tickets and student tickets are our unknowns. Now, obviously for this one, since one senior and one student, instead of trying to use different letters, we're going to go back to X and Y for this one. We could. Okay, now, so let's create the equation. This one says that 4 senior citizen tickets and 5 student tickets totaled up to 102. So what does that equation look like? Okay, then This one says the school took in $126 on the second day by selling 7 senior tickets and 5 student tickets. What does that equation look like? Okay. Do we have the variable that's ready to be eliminated? Almost. Right. You are going to have to multiply by -1. Which equation? But does it matter? It could be either. Why would it be better? Okay, so we're going to make this a -5 on top. So that will become, look, since it's just going to change all the signs, I'm just going to make this a -4. So hold on. So look, I'm going to make this a -4, that a -5, and that a -102. I multiplied everything by -1. Now I add the two equations together. -4x plus 7x is 3x. -5y plus 5y is 0y. And -102 plus 126 is... Now what do we do? Divide by 3. And so x equals 8. And that's senior tickets, right? How do I now find out how many student tickets were sold? Okay, take one of the originals. We'll take the bottom one. When I take this 7x and replace the x with the 8, what will that become? So 56 plus 5y equals 126. Then to solve for y, what do I do? And that becomes 5y equals... No. Now what do I do? And y equals... So that means we have 7 senior tickets and 14 student tickets. 8 senior tickets, 14 student tickets. All right, turn to the next page. All right. 2 groups of people went to see Divergent in IMAX 3D. The first group spent $73.50 on 2 adult tickets and 3 children's tickets. The other group spent $109.50 on 5 adult tickets and 2 children's tickets. What is the cost for each type of ticket? All right, we read the question. What are they asking us to figure out? Okay, what are the types of tickets? Right, adults and children, so we will be using A and C. So first, let's write the first equation. The sentence says the first group spent $73.50 on 2 adults and 3 children. So how do you write that equation? Good job. No. Now the next one is the other group spent $109.50 on 5 adult tickets and 2 children's tickets. So what does that equation say? Okay, so there is your system of equations. Is either variable ready to eliminate? Can you multiply just one equation? No. Well, how could you multiply one equation, Aaron? All right, so we need to multiply both equations. Would we rather multiply... By negative what? Okay. Oh, I've already read 3. So that means we got to multiply the bottom by what? Whoa. Why would we be multiplying by 3 anyway? -5, +2. Shh, be quiet. You've lost your candy. The top equation becomes -10a minus 15c equals what? negative what?
367.5.
The bottom equation becomes 2 times 5a, which is 10a, 2 times 2c, which is 4c, and then 2 times 109.50. And what is that? 219. Well, I couldn't understand you, so I had to. All right, now we add the equations together. Negative 10a plus 10a cancels. Negative 15c plus 4c becomes. And then negative 367.5 plus 219 becomes negative 148.50. Now what do I do? Divide by negative 11 and you get what? I did not get that. I got 1350. Eliminate the other one? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now that we know what a children's tickets cost, how do we find out the cost of an adult ticket? Right, so if I'm using this first equation, 2a plus 3c, what will that 3c become? $40.5. And then equals 73.50. Now what do we do? Subtract 40.5. Those cancel and you're left with 2a equals what? And now what do we do? So a equals 33 divided by 2, which is $16.50 for an adult ticket. All right, next question. Shane has a collection of new nickels and quarters. He has bought a total of 50 coins worth $10.30. I meant to say he has a total. He has a total. He has a total of 50 coins worth $10.30. How many of each coin does he have? All right. First of all, what are the unknowns? Okay, so we will use N for nickels and Q for quarters. Right? So his nickels plus his quarters totals up to 50 coins. Their other total is $10.30, but since that's a dollar amount, like how much they're worth, you have to put how much they're worth on each variable. How much is a nickel worth? And how much is a quarter worth? 0.25. Okay, now what do I need to do? So what do I do? Is that the only thing I could have multiplied it by? Right. Okay, so I'm going to write over here what they become. Negative 0.05 times n becomes negative 0.05 n. Negative 0.05 times q becomes negative 0.05 q. And then it equals whatever negative 0.05 times 50 is. Okay, then the bottom equation remains the same, so you just rewrite it. Now that we have a variable that's ready to be eliminated, we simply add the two equations together. Those cancel out. The q's become what? 0.15, no, 0.2. 0.20q And then what did the constants become? What is negative 2.5 plus 10.3? 7.8. Okay, now what do we do? Now what do we do?
Divide.
Divide by 0.2. And 7.8 divided by 0.2 is 39. So that means we have 39 quarters. If there were 50 coins in all, how many are nickels? 11. Now, let's make sure it makes sense. How much money is 39 quarters? How do you figure that out?
Multiply by 0.25.
Right, 39 times 0.25 is? Yes. And then how much would 11 nickels be worth?
$1.50.
55 cents. What do those total up to? Which is what they said he had, so we did it right. Hit it. Shut your mouth. All right. At Denny's, 3 breakfast sandwiches and 2 orders of home fries cost $18. 2 breakfast sandwiches and 3 orders of home fries cost $15.75. What is the cost for 1 breakfast sandwich? Okay, what are our unknowns? Right, we have the breakfast sandwiches and we have the fries. Yes. We can use S for breakfast sandwiches and F for home fries. Now, what will the first equation say if 3 breakfast sandwiches and 2 orders of fries cost 18? What will the second equation be if 2 sandwiches and 3 orders of fries is $15.75? Okay, is either variable ready to eliminate? No. Can we multiply one equation to make it happen? No. Right. So I want you to look at the question carefully though. What is the cost for a sandwich? So do we really care what a fry costs?
No.
So shouldn't we just go and eliminate the fries?
No.
So what do I need to multiply the top by?
-3.
And the bottom by?
-2.
+2. Because one of them's got to be negative, one of them's got to be positive. No, but what do you mean the other way around? I'm trying to multiply, I'm trying to get rid of the F's. Okay, so -3 times 3S becomes -9S. And the reason I'm trying to do that, Nikayla, is because the question only cares about the cost of a sandwich. So that's why I want to leave the S's there and I want to eliminate the fries because I don't care about the cost of a fry. All I care about is the cost of a sandwich. All right, so -9S minus 6F equals what? What is -3 times 18? -54? Now on the bottom, 2 times 2S is 4S. 2 times 3F is 6F. And then 2 times 1575 is, right? Now that you have a variable ready to eliminate, you add the 2 equations together. -9S plus 4S is -5S. -6F plus 6F cancels. And -$54 plus $31.50 becomes -$22.5. Now what do we do? Divide by -5, turn around. And so a cost of a breakfast sandwich is $4.50. And we don't have to do anything else because this particular question did not ask about both. They only cared about the cost for a breakfast sandwich, so you're done. All right, next page. That I'm doing with y'all, then you have work. Jocelyn sold tickets to the spring choir concert. On the first day of ticket sales, she sold 3 senior citizen tickets and 3 child's tickets for a total of $69. The school took in $91 on the second day by selling 5 senior tickets and 3 children's tickets. What is the price of 1 senior ticket and the price of 1 children's ticket? So what are our unknowns? Right, senior tickets, which we'll label as S, and children's tickets, which we'll label as C. Now we need to line up a plan. If there were 3 seniors sold and 3 children sold for a total of 69, what does that equation look like?
3S plus 3C.
Okay? Then the second equation says they took in $91 on the second day for 5 senior tickets and 3 children's tickets. What does that look like?
5S plus 3C equals 91.
Okay, is there a variable that's ready to eliminate? No. Almost. We need to multiply either the top or the bottom by -1 to make one of those 3's negative. All right, so the top equation will become -3S minus 3C equals -69. The bottom equation will remain the same. Now we're ready to eliminate, so we add them together. -3S plus 5S becomes a 2S. -3C plus 3C cancels, and then -69 plus 91 becomes 22. And so when you divide by 2 on both sides, you see that the student ticket costs $11. How do you now find out the cost, senior ticket. How do you now find out the cost of a children's ticket? Okay, so say we're using this bottom one. 5S will become a what? 55. And then plus 3C equals 91. So what do? Subtract the 55. So 3C equals 36. And then you divide by 3. So each child's ticket costs $12. All right. Sabrina and Brianna are selling flower bulbs for a school fundraiser. Customers can buy packages of tulip bulbs and bags of daffodil bulbs. Sabrina sold 6 packages of tulip bulbs and 12 bags of daffodil bulbs for a total of $198. Brianna sold 7 packages of tulip bulbs and 6 bags of daffodil bulbs for a total of $127. Find the cost of each package of tulip bulbs and 1 bag of daffodil bulbs. So what are our unknowns? So we'll use T for tulip bulbs and D for daffodil bulbs. So, Sabrina sold 6 packages of tulips, 12 bags of daffodils for a total of $198. So what does her equation look like?
16 plus 12D equals 198.
Brianna sold 7 packages of tulip bulbs and 6 bags of daffodil bulbs for $127. What does that look like? Do we have a variable that's ready to eliminate? So what do we need to do? Right, multiply by -2. So the top equation remains the same. It's not affected. The bottom equation becomes -14T minus 12D equals, what is -2 times 127? -254. Now that you have a variable that's ready to eliminate, all you have to do is add the 2 equations together. When you do that, you get 6 plus a -14, which is -8T. And then the D's cancel out. And what is 198 plus -254? -56. Now what do we do? And so your tulip bulbs are $7 each. How do you now find the price of the daffodil bulbs? Okay, so if I'm replacing the T with a 7 in the first equation, that will become a 42 plus 12D equals 198. Now what do I do? And now what do I do? So the cost of a daffodil bulb is 13.